Boy, just be yourself. If people don't like it if you're being yourself, fuck them.
Los and Hollywood Kev.
And welcome to another episode of The Noize on iHeartRadio. Don't forget to follow The Noize at The Noize Podcast on the big three, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And make sure you follow everything Beat Network at beatnetworkonline.com. That has all the links that you need to continue to fuck with us the way that you do. What's happening, ear hustlers? How y'all living? How you living? Kev, how you living, sir?
I'm good. Good. Can't complain at all.
Oh, it is some shit to talk about.
Oh yeah. Y'all in for a treat.
Oh my God. What a week.
Mm-hmm.
What a week in this wonderful world that we call the world.
This wonderful world that we call the world.
There's no other way to put it, man, because shit is just all over the place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy out here.
Before we get into the things we have jotted down here, how was your week, sir? Was it as entertaining as the rest of the world?
With the content that the rest of the world received, yes. Personally, not so much. I think this week I kept busy though. I've been doing a ton of reading. I think this week alone I've probably finished 3 books so far. 3 books and 2 audiobooks. I'm at right now. I'm reading another one. So it's just been a lot of reading, enjoying this content that we're getting. It's been a chill week. It's just been better than the previous weeks because I've been keeping myself busy.
Yeah, man. So you can do, man, especially when you're trying to keep your mental at like a solid medium point, at least, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's exactly what I've been trying to do. Keep myself medium. I've gotten better at meditating. I can actually say that I feel comfortable meditating. I get that done every day. Just you know, doing what I do. Got an interview on Wednesday. Excited about that. So yeah, I'm in a decent place right now.
Motions, what it's all about. I'm gonna be honest with you. I am trash at meditating.
It's definitely a tough thing to do because I think the whole goal of meditating is just to make your mind go blank, to get that peace of mind that nobody I don't think on the face of the planet gets because their mind is always going. I first meditated, bruh, I couldn't stay focused on just focusing on breathing. Every little thing that I thought of pops in my head. But the good thing about it, I actually have this app. It's called Headspace. If you guys want to download it, they have free stuff, but you can pay if you want further instruction. But the first session I did was he was just having me focusing on breathing, and then towards the end of the session, he was just like, "Now, just let your mind think about whatever it wants to think about." I thought that was a little bit of a different approach, but it was cool. And as I did it a couple more times, it got easier just to kind of block everything out and get that peace. And I do feel better after meditating. I do feel better, so it's not a fluke. So try it, man. You gotta try it. Just if you stick with it, then I think you'll be good. I think everybody has a habit of if they can't get something the first time or the first couple of times, and they just like fuck it, because that's definitely how it was. This is like my 8th time trying to meditate. But I think if you can get past that first session, and even though the second one you're like, man, I can't do this shit, go ahead, do it anyway. You'll start to get it.
You said it's called Headspace?
It's called Headspace, yeah.
I'm going to have to look into that. You know what my main issue is with meditation and just trying to necessarily free my mind and just, you know, be at peace, is that it is exactly what you mentioned in the beginning of the pitch. It's so hard to just not think about shit, especially with me. Like, I can get all the stress and all the BS of the week or of the day, whatever the case is. I can clear my mind of that, but then my mind just starts doing some strange shit. My mind starts venturing to some left field. Like, pigs ain't got ass cheeks, so when they fart, do it make a sound, or is it just like a and then the room just know that? So it's like ultimately when pigs fart, you gotta wait until there's a reaction to actually address what the pig did. You know, then it's like with roaches having so many babies, do they have like roach baby mama drama? Like that's where That's where my head normally goes. Just to the most random left field shit.
You don't need meditation. You need a therapist, bro. That's not normal shit to think about. Like,
it's not. I'm not saying it's normal, but I mean, when you're trying to keep your mind as clear and as open as possible, nobody thinks of just normal shit.
That is true. I will give you that, because even sitting there breathing, like when he just had me focusing on breathing, my brain would just be like, what if you just stop breathing right now? Like, what if your body does some weird shit and it feels like you underwater and you can't breathe? What would you do? So yeah, I definitely feel what you're saying.
Bro,
just try it.
This is no lie. This isn't anything for the show. This is all straight up factuals. One day, I really like when I was like trying to fall asleep, just trying to clear my head, empty my mind. The random thought, I was like, what did Bloods call the Crypt Keeper back in the day? This literally happened like 2 nights ago, bro. I shit you not.
They probably ain't watched that. They probably ain't watch it.
They probably thought it was some different shit.
Yeah, they was like, they ain't Tales from the Crypt. Fuck them niggas. We ain't watching that.
I ain't trying to hear no stories from them niggas, man.
Right. Them niggas killing the homies. I ain't trying to hear that shit. Yeah, it's
man.
Yeah,
so at least my question got answered, so it's never gonna come to the brain again.
but what you said is actually right, man. It's easy to kind of turn your brain off from work, you know what I mean, or just from the regular 9 to 5 hustle and bustle. But once you get into the house, that's when shit starts to really formulate in your head. And then as being a black man, I don't think, unless we're doing something like meditation, I think it's damn near impossible for us to turn our mind off. Just getting in the car alone, you worry. You're like, shit, okay, I'm on my way home, but if I get pulled over, how this shit gonna end? You know what I mean? Like, how is this gonna work out? Or just random shit, you know what I mean? So I definitely feel where you're coming from with that. But all I can say to that is just try it. Just stick with it and try it. If by your 3rd or 4th session you still can't focus, then maybe it's not for you.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna look into that, man, because I really do need those times to just kind of just relax and just let my brain just just chill out. Like I just told somebody the other day, they asked me like I was able to get some stuff done for beat. And I'm like, sometimes I just need those days where I need to just let my brain fart. Like I just need it to just and just let out all of the actual thinking and all of the important shit, and just kind of be lazy, watch mindless TV, watch things that don't have too much of a, I don't want to say respectable storyline, but like a storyline that doesn't require too much actual thought. You more so just watch it just to enjoy it, going like some Family Guy, American Dad type shit. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I think that's necessary. I think it's necessary sometimes to just watch some shit that literally has no meaning. Do what you can to shut your brain off, because it really can. It's crazy. The brain is the strongest physical thing that I can think of. You know what I mean? Because if you can control your brain, it's so much shit that you can actually have control of. But in that same breath, it's so easy to detract from that. It's so easy to have your brain manipulated into something else. That's why I say that. But you're absolutely right, man. You absolutely right on everything that you said. And up to a point, I was with you. I was in that same boat.
Speaking of random things to think about, and now I'm pretty sure some of the ear hustlers are going to think about this as well. I saw a meme yesterday, and on the meme, I really thought about how crazy that would be for somebody. But on the meme, it said, "You think your life sucks? Imagine if you were a Siamese twin and your twin was gay, and he's and he's on his way out for a grinder date."
Holy shit! Now, where are we attached?
You know, my experience with Siamese twins is normally like 2 heads, or they're like attached at the hip. So ultimately, if he's getting rocked from behind by another dude, he's bumping your shoulder.
Wow. I mean, if I'm attached by the head, I'm gonna just have to tell this dude, yo, we just gonna have to be celibate, or just find some freaks that just
that is stressful. If you attach by the head and then you find out that your Siamese twin is not only gay, but he's a bottom.
Holy shit. Wait, what about the things that he's gonna do orally? Like you gotta be down there too.
Like when you're Siamese twins, like are the senses the same? Like, do you taste what he tastes? You just sitting there minding your business. You just like, what is this?
That's disgusting. That is gross. Nah, if I'm a Siamese twin, I don't care where I am. Like I gotta be attached. If it's at the hip, I'll take that scar. That's easy. If it's at the head, I'll take that too. Y'all can figure something out. But I
you
can't
are a
walk
real
around,
one.
I can't walk around tasting leftover penis from my twin. I can't do it. Either that, I would have to kill myself. He would have to just drag my dead body around.
Yo, that's fucked up because like just because you didn't want the sloppy seconds of dick taste, you ain't want the dick aftertaste. All of a sudden, now you gotta leave your twin to drag your lifeless corpse around everywhere.
He didn't give a damn when he was sucking dick. Why should he give a damn?
But these are all temporary things, you know what I'm saying? Like while he's chopping dude up, you just deal with it. He has to carry you around forever.
Now listen, if he's at the age where he can start sucking and receiving dick, that means that they were unsuccessful in separating us. They don't know how to separate us or they can't. So I might as well not be here no more.
Man, there are these Siamese twins, these ladies, and one of them went on to become like a country music star. She did concerts and shit.
But I see, but it's two women. I'm pretty sure her twin wasn't mad about having an after dick taste.
And it is different for women when they do come out as lesbian. How they're like all secretly lesbian, just like at least for like 10 minutes.
Right. You know what I mean? So, but no, I couldn't be. No, that was shout out to the Siamese twins out there.
And now watch me go to sleep tonight. Like, what do gay and straight Siamese twins do? Like, what happens in that situation?
He about to go look this shit up and figure out what their life is outside of being Siamese.
But that's real shit. Like, what if your gay Siamese twin is so immersed in the culture of LGBTQ that he's like a cross-dresser?
Ooh, that's bad.
Like, and then it's like it's one body. Like if it's I forgot what these girls' names are, but they have one body and it's just two heads.
Oh, see, now that's different. If it's just one body and two heads, then me and the twin gonna have to make an executive decision on who's gonna get that shit cut off. Now, if it's two bodies,
listen, one of us got to die.
Yeah, somebody got to go. But if it's two bodies and we're attached at the head, then we can figure something out. But if I'm just a head sitting on the body and he across, man, just let this man live his life. Take me out of this picture. I'm good.
Right.
I'm good.
Shit. Well, that's something for everybody to think about while they sleeping. But before we get into the show, we are recording this episode a little late, but I have to ask my co-host, just because I know this is his team, and I think we haven't heard Kev get mad.
I don't want to talk about it.
We are, though. We heard Kev get mad at some time. So game one. Cavs versus the Golden State Warriors. LeBron drops 51, a monumentous night for King James. J.R. Smith.
Stupid ass J.R. Smith. This dumb motherfucker. I swear to God, I tweeted him so much. I want the fade. I truly want the fade. And the crazy part is, I've ran into J.R. Smith plenty of times up until this point and have had decent conversations or great interactions. Like, cool, but nah, that shit was unacceptable. Only reason I'm putting the blame on him, but it was so much stuff wrong with those last few minutes. And I'm chucking that one up to the refs. I truly am. This particular game that came on today, I stopped watching at the half. Fuck the Cavaliers until they get a new head coach. I'm at the point now where unless you're Brad Stevens or Pop, I can coach better than you. And I mean that with every ounce of blood in my body. I mean that with, I kid you
Pop
not.
And who?
I mean that. Pop and Brad Stevens.
Oh, okay. I know you coach for. I didn't know you said.
You not, and I maybe give Eric Spoelstra an honorable mention. He just has no talent.
I'm about to say, he doesn't really have a team to rock with.
Yeah, I kid you not. I honestly feel in every ounce of blood in my body that I can coach better than those. Outside of those three coaches, I can coach better than them. As far as in reference to game one, it was a lot of bad shit that was bad. One, for instance, I just noticed today, right before the game started, was with the whole J.R. Smith team. LeBron actually called a timeout. It was either it was between 1.2 and 1.4 seconds on the clock. Now, I'm not saying that we would have came down and scored or anything like that. We could have very well still lost that game. But what I am saying is little stuff like that is what can turn a game around. That charge, that call that was overturned, that was with 30 seconds left in the fourth. That was a huge momentum shift. Shit like that should not be happening in games. And honestly, I think
especially
this year, Yeah, especially in the finals. This year, not accounting for any game that we have seen in the finals. I honestly think this year has been the worst officiating year in a very long time. Like, I can't remember the last time it's been this bad across the board. Like, it's been bad all year long, and it really sucks the fun out of games that could potentially be fun. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's stressful. It's stressful being a Cavs fan. Honestly, I'm ready for this Golden State Warriors to just go ahead and sweep us. I'm mad because I feel like they're getting their third ring in the most bitch way as possible. Like, KD gonna have 2 rings in the most bitch way as possible. I'm not happy about that, but I just want this shit to be over with. LeBron do whatever the hell he's gonna do. Get rid of Tyronn Lue so we can rebuild. I honestly hope they draft Trae Young, and let's just start this shit over. I'm looking more forward to the offseason than I have since I've been watching basketball.
And it's interesting because every Cavs fan that I've spoke to, it seems like there's a collective mindset that LeBron is about to leave.
Yeah, I'll be surprised if he stays. Only way I think he would stay is if they offer him like a supermax contract where it's so much money on the line that he can't deny it. But in the same breath, he has so much money, so it's not like he needs it.
And you know what's funny? That's the exact conversation I had at work today with one of my coworkers.
He has he has so much money. It's not like he needs it. But I mean, at his age, I would do that instead of being in the rebuild process. Like, if you go to Houston, yeah, chances are y'all most likely win. That'll be a bitch move. You'll be looked at kind of shady, but you'll be in the West. It'll still be way harder to compete and to get to the finals, opposed if you're in the East. Now,
if you go to what would be the difference between his move to Houston, like how his move happened to Miami? Like, what would be the difference?
The difference would be Houston. The difference would be when he moved to Miami, they weren't a winning squad. That's what people fail to realize. They made the playoffs, but they got bounced the first round. They weren't a winning team. Houston honestly dropped the ball. They could have beat Golden State. They dropped the ball to get there. And I think with that team, it'll be different because Chris Bosh came with him. D-Ray was already there. If he goes to Houston, Harden is there. Chris Paul is there. Then their role players could probably start on a lot of other teams, especially teams that came to the East. Mm-hmm. I feel like if he goes to Philly, it could work. The only thing is he's messing up a team that kind of did their whole rebuild process, that wants to grow. Now, granted, they immediately become a contender, NBA championship contender with him on their team, but for how long? Okay, he stays there 4 years. He's only going to get older. Now, granted, he's in a position now where it don't look like he's slowing down, but when we get down to it, by the time you're 36, bro, we don't expect you to put up 51 points in a finals game. Not saying he can't do it, but the reality of it is that's probably not going to happen.
Oh, yeah, so he got about 2 more years before he stops playing for competition and just starts playing for max contracts. About 2-3 more years.
Till you start seeing it diminish. Now, do you take those 2-3 years and immediately trying to win a ship and probably have to rebuild once he leaves? Or do you say, fuck it, we're going to rock with what we got? I don't know. I don't know if he does leave. I completely understand it. If he does stay, honestly, I'll be asking him for a max. If I was him and I'm staying, I'd be like, hey, first we got to get rid of Lou. I want a max contract, and we got to shuffle these players around. At this point, I really believe that if we had the team before the trade, now in this position, that we wouldn't be losing the way that we are.
Oh, losing. Not at all. Yeah, he had way more help than what he thought he did.
Yeah, way more.
Well, correction. In comparison to the team he has now, he had way more help than what he was asking for.
Yeah, exactly. And then not only that, you had people that had mental fortitude to try and go out and compete. But at the same token, LeBron is kind of the reason the Cavs are in the spot we are now, because and it has something to do with the coaching staff, but he's making players be a spot-up shooter, and that's not their game. Like, granted, you can have some people that can catch and just shoot a 3 in the same spot, but he holding the ball till it's 4 seconds left in the shot clock, drives to the bucket, and then passes the ball out and expects somebody to make a shot. That's not basketball. That's not basketball at all. I don't know. I'm just looking forward to the offseason. Fuck game 1. Fuck J.R. Smith. Fuck game 2. Fuck Tyronn Lue.
Yo.
Yeah.
Now that you mentioned J.R. Smith, it's funny because I was saying before tonight's game started, tonight was game 2, so yesterday for y'all listening to the show, and they were talking about like you saw the memes where they were talking shit about JR, and me and some of my coworkers were talking like, so what is it gonna take to turn this game around. I said nothing about turning the game around for J.R. Smith. For J.R. Smith to be forgiven for that shit, he needs to go stupid tonight. Like, he really needs to tap into first ring J.R. Smith. He needs to tap into the J.R. Smith that LeBron was crying about how good he was as a player.
In order for him to be forgiven, he definitely has to do that.
He had to,
but he has to be consistent.
He had to snap tonight and then be consistent. He can no longer fuck up because going back to game one, if I'm backtracking, going back to game one, people were saying, oh, it was George Hill missing the free throw. And granted, I give him that. I absolutely give him that. If George Hill would have made that free throw, it would have been a different game. However, we can't pretend like Steph Curry don't go into the, to the gym 3 hours before and put up 500 shots from the parking lot. You know what I mean? Like, he lives for that shot. So, and it's not, and we've seen him make that shot more than we've seen him miss it, if we're being completely honest. Exactly. So that doesn't guarantee you the W. So that's on that part. Where JR kind of got me fucked up is where he was in the position in the paint. He didn't have to make a shot. If he had just jumped, they would have fouled him. And he would have had 2 more at the line, and that would have been the end of the game.
Not only that, to touch on all of your points, yes, if he makes that second free throw, there's no doubt in my mind that ball comes down and goes to KD or Durant and they hit a buzzer beater. There's no doubt in my mind that would have happened.
Right. This ain't the team to think that they ain't going to lob that ball and make it.
Exactly. That's the one team that that shit could potentially happen. And then on to the JR point, not only did he just have to jump and he could have got fouled, he didn't even have to bring it out. If he would have just put it up there, it could have been a layup.
Yeah, he could have potentially have just made a layup.
Exactly. Not only that, when he did dribble the ball out, like he's just dribbling, it was so much shit wrong, bro. Like, this is why I think this is why I know I would be a better coach. Just so I know if I would have made it to the league, I would have been one of the better players, because I'm learning these guys have no basketball IQ. Like I honestly feel like a lot of the NBA players got there off of knowing somebody, being a plug, having a plug that can get them a little bit of exposure, because they have no basketball IQ. Like, I'm watching these guys do stuff that you learn in grade school, and I'm like, how do you not know how to do this? How do you not know certain shit? You know what I mean? It's just bad. It's so bad to the point, bro, game 2 today, when they were introducing the teams, the Cavs, when they said, the Cleveland Cavaliers, they booed them as expected. When J.R. Smith got announced, they clapped for him and cheered. They were calling him MVP when he got fouled. That's what I was getting to. When he shot his first free throws, they're chanting MVP. Like, I thought that shit was funny, but
that shit was hilarious.
but you know what I mean? I think in order for them to win this series, granted they're going to have to win both games at home, but I think LeBron he's going to need at least 1 or 2 people to score at least 15 points a game to have a chance.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Somebody else got to be in the higher double digits. 40
and 50 points, and then the next person has 11. And then after that, it's 8 and 3 and 2. Like, that shit is so trash to me. That's one of the reasons why I can't wait to get to the offseason. Like, don't get me wrong. My girl, she's a Boston fan, so it was cool to go back and forth. Oh,
we are officially beefing.
And yeah, I wanted the Cavs to win, but I'd rather have watched Boston play Golden State than them. At least they would have fought. These guys don't even look like they're fighting. And as a fan, that shit is disheartening.
Exactly. Because that was. Oh, go ahead. My bad.
I was gonna say, as a fan, it's disheartening, and it's disheartening to watch, knowing that your star player has a 90% chance of him being gone next season, and these guys come out here and they act lackadaisical. They have no energy. They act like they don't know what they're doing. They don't know the score of the game or where we're at. That as a fan, that shit is disheartening. You know what I mean? As a fan, coming to watch games and they're paying however much money it costs to get into game just to watch that's disheartening. That sucks as a fan, and I don't think there's nobody in the Cavaliers camp or in the camp of the NBA that's telling these players this, that's telling these coaches this. Like, honestly, I feel like the Cavs need a fan or a real nigga to go in there and be like, yo, X, Y, and Z is how it looks to us, and that shit ain't cool. If this is how y'all gonna be, then y'all don't need our support. We can start being like the Phoenix Suns crowd and only have 8 people showing up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they long past the Steve Nash, Grant Hill days, boy.
Right. It's just really disheartening as a fan. And then not only that, as a fan, you still got to go and hear social media talk shit on shit they have no idea about. But to talk shit nonetheless, it just sucks. It really sucks.
And one thing that I noticed, I know the whole reason I even brought it up, I don't think like LeBron needs that help, and the only person that I really had that belief was going to show up and help him is J.R. Smith. But given how game one went, I think that truly fucked with his morale and it fucked with his psyche going into this game, because there's no reason that he had that many minutes and went 2 for 9. There's no reason he only had 5 points on the board. Like, you can't fuck up as bad as you did in game one and then score less than what you did in game one. Like, you were supposed to come and be somebody completely different tonight.
Exactly. And if you couldn't do it on the offensive end, then whoever you was holding shouldn't have had no points.
That's the exact fucking thing I said at work today. I was like, if you knew you were cold, you knew you were cold by the time you were that you were 2 for 5. You knew you were cold. So at that point, whoever you were guarding, that nigga shouldn't have gone double digits.
Exactly. He shouldn't have gone double digits, but that also plays into Tyronn Lue. Like, why? If there's no reason, after game one, there's no reason J.R. Smith should have started today. There's no reason. I would have made it to where he wasn't starting, but he doesn't even use his lineups in the right way. I feel like Larry Nance should get more play time. The way Jeff Green's been playing, I think he's at the play time he should get, but when he starts fucking up, put somebody else in. At this point, what do you have to lose? The lineup that you're putting in is not getting the job done. What do you have to lose to switch it up?
I can't even say it's going to be an interesting finals, man. I think this may be that sweep, and I feel bad for Brian because this would be his second sweep in the finals, wouldn't it?
Yep, this would be his second. His first one was in 2007 when he played against the Spurs, and it's crazy because Game 6 of the Boston series, I had already been saying we're going to get swept. I had already had it in my mind we're going to get swept. Like, especially the way that they played today, it was just, I can't even say it was no energy. Now, granted, I will give Golden State credit. They shot 60% today. I don't expect them to shoot 60% no more in the rest of the series. Like, shooting, people think when they hear 60%, they automatically think of grades. Oh, 60% is low. When you're shooting the ball, 60% is extremely high. So I will give them credit with that. They didn't miss. But at the same time, Cavs didn't play no D to try to make a miss.
Right.
They were doing dumb shit. Y'all let JaVale McGee get dunks and dunks and dunks off of little stuff because you guys want to not play proper defense and let him just walk to the basket.
And all you got to do really is just put a body on his old uncoordinated ass.
That's all you got to do. But I'm saying he wasn't even getting points like they passing the ball and he worked for it. He was just cutting to the basket because he seen an open pass and they passed it to him. But that goes to the lack of defense, the lack of mental toughness that this team has. And I don't know if it's the team just doesn't know how to play defense or they don't have that mental toughness, or is it the coaching staff that is really that bad? Like, we were, and I know it has to be the coaching staff because we were bad. I think we went 6-1 when Tyronn Lue wasn't coaching for that brief stint. When he was sick and he wasn't coaching, we had the assistant coach help. We went 6-1. That should tell you something right then and there. Man, fuck the NBA.
Hey, Tyronn Lue looked like he should be a barber somewhere in the West. Like he gives me barber. Like that nigga's edge ups are probably crispy as fuck.
He do. Now that you say he do kind of, I can see him as a barber, and I can see that.
Like he's that one barber that always got the wave cap on with the Bluetooth in his ear.
I can see it. I can see it wearing velour sweats. Just
like, bro, it's 105 outside. Okay. Nigga, you sitting down or you getting the fuck out? What you doing? Don't waste my time. Like, he just seemed like that type of nigga to me. Getting off of basketball. Again, but either way, I do feel for you, bro. I do feel for all Cavs fans. And as a Clevelander, I feel for the city because this is very demoralizing.
It's very demoralizing. And not only that, though, the city got to prepare. Once this man leave, jobs will leave, too.
Yeah, jobs are leaving. Shit, the fucking fans are gonna leave.
Exactly, you know what I mean. So and that's what pisses me off with that because I feel like the entire organization knows that, including the players. So for the players to come out and not have no heart, yeah, fuck y'all, every last one of y'all. And I tell it to their face.
It's gonna be a crazy offseason for Cleveland. It's gonna be an insane offseason for Cleveland.
I think it's gonna be a crazy offseason period. I think this draft is gonna be crazy. This is one of the best drafts I've seen in a while.
But let's get to the motherfucking meat. It's time. Yeah. It's gay Siamese time. Let's get to the meat.
that's gay, dog. That's real gay,
bruh. So here we are. I want to say 6-7 days later, and from our last conversation, we was like Pusha T's on the clock. Drake came through. He's showing he's gonna see styling on you. He's about to hit you with that meek, with that, but it seemed like a one-punch knockout. Oh my God! Now, disclaimer. We know that the story of Adidon came out a while ago, but you know our show comes at the end of the week, so we're gonna react like this shit just happened this morning. Oh my God! First and foremost, Drake is the only black man that could be a serial womanizer, absentee father, and still be beloved. He's the only one.
Not only beloved Gerald, but the women are caping for.
Women are making excuses for this nigga presenting his child in a rollout.
The same women that got them a deadbeat baby daddy that they put.
That is how you end up with an ain't shit nigga, ladies. Mm-hmm. That is how you do it. The fact that y'all are caping for this man, and he was going to present his child as a rollout with Adidas, and you're trying to like, well, he's still been there. Like, no, he's using his child for plug. And you know, exactly. I had an interesting conversation before we get into the actual beef itself. I had an interesting conversation. One of the women that were caping for Drake, she said, what's the difference between what Chris Brown did and what Drake did? I'm like, Chris Brown found out he had a kid and then named his next album after her. And
was there from the jump, though.
Right, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, when he found out that the baby was pregnant, he had the DNA test, and then he found out that was actually his. He announced it to the world. He fell in love with his baby, and that inspired him to call the next album Royalty.
Right.
We were going to find out about Drake's baby from Adidas. That's the difference. That is the fucking difference. But anyway, getting back to the actual beef. Oh my God. When Pusha started that motherfucker off, drug dealing aside, ghostwriters aside, let's have a conversation about your pride. I was like, Pusha about to say some shit. This nigga is ready. And did we get some shit?
Oh, did we get it?
Oh, I love hip hop. Oh my God. Let me tell you something.
What was your initial reaction?
After he said that, I got real attentive. I got very, very attentive. And I was just ready for whatever the hell he had to say. You know, when you're listening to something and you're not necessarily, you're not trying to, make the sounds, and you're not trying to go too crazy.
You're just trying to listen.
You're just trying to listen. It was impossible to do that with this record, because when he mentioned the baby, I was nodding, and then it was one of those, wait, huh? And then when that nigga just straight up, you are hiding a child. Bro, I'll tell you, I almost threw my motherfucking remote through the TV. Because, bro, we talked about it. We were like, what? Like, you either have to find a gay sex tape or find out Drake is a deadbeat dad to truly get a chink in his armor, because he really was Mr. Untouchable.
Right. He was.
So to find out that my man was hiding a child and was by a porn star who's not even that cute, but she got the body that Drake go for. Mm-hmm. And you know what I'm saying, for the fact that you were going to present said child as a rollout.
That's now out of all of it, that shit is foul.
Oh, and the only thing I see positive of that rollout is him setting up the Adidon situation to ultimately keep money in. Is the kid's name Adonis?
Yeah.
Is to keep money in Adonis' pockets for the rest of his life. That part I commend like a motherfucker. But this ain't how you do it. Nah, you don't treat your child like a marketing tool.
Right, and that's exactly what he did. And that part, that's where you're like, you don't get no respect for that. But yeah, like you said, keeping his son's pockets laced, period, that's great. But I feel like he could have did that without this rollout. Like if he would have came out and said he had a kid, he probably still could have did the Adidas thing and still did it without using his son as a pawn. I think he used him as a pawn, a lot like these deadbeat women. So maybe that's why, or a lot like, I'm not going to say deadbeat women, a lot like women. So maybe that's why they cape for him.
You know what's interesting? I look at this beef, and it actually goes back to the whole show that we had a year ago, the Status versus Bar episode.
Mm-hmm.
And this is so irritating where hip hop is right now, because it's like you said, people were caping for Drake after hearing about that. And then you look at Pusha T saying what he said in the second record, low key, the mainstream audience, the buying audience are still giving Drake the W in a sense by saying that Pusha T went too far and Drake shouldn't respond. It's like, no, you're giving him an out. You're giving him an out from responding and giving this nigga bars because Pusha T went too far, but everyone tends to forget Drake mentioned his fiance.
Right. I think the people that say Pusha went too far are not real hip hop fans. I think they may be Drake fans, but I think they're not hip hop fans, because there's no way you can say a person went too far and you be immersed in hip hop. Now, when you got records like "Hit 'Em Up," not when you got.
He said he fucked your bitch before the beat dropped
on the baby seat.
Right. Exactly.
You know
leave the condoms on your baby seat.
Not when you got Gucci telling Jeezy to go dig up his dead homies. I bet you he won't say nothing. Like, you can't say that this man is going too far when all he stated to me was facts.
Right. That's all it was. It was facts, but people are so quick to defend who they think should be the winner, just strictly based off of status. But now that bars was in their face, like I remember I saw a meme that was like, when he was just getting ate alive, the meme said, "Only reason y'all talking about Pusha T is because of Drake." I'm like, but that shows you, whoever you are that made that meme, you're not a real hip hop fan, because niggas been talking about Pusha T.
Exactly.
Pusha T he's been around since like 96, 97, but he's been hot since 99 forward. Pusha T is low key like a quiet legend in the game right now. Well, no, not a quiet legend. He's definitely a legend, but he's low key like, really.
He's one of those legends that people wouldn't know until they hear. He's a legend like Black Thought. Like, people don't know that he's a legend until they really hear other legends speak on.
And you know what? Someone also made a real ass comment. I'm gonna ask you this as well, because you're probably gonna react and say and be stuck just like I did. Pusha T has a timeless record with grinding. Even though Drake is an amazing artist, what record is time? What record did Drake make that's timeless?
That's timeless that you can listen to now. Honestly, I don't think there is one.
I don't think there is one.
I mean, don't get me wrong. He's definitely made fantastic songs. Some bomb hits,
he's a brilliant fucking artist. Like, I fuck with his music up to a certain point. But when you really look at,
I don't think you can go back and say that he's made something where you can listen to no matter what.
Right. Like, I don't think he's made anything that you're going to be able to truly even fucking Lil Uzi Vert, he even got some shit that people gonna, at least this generation, is gonna double back to for years.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but with Drake, you either spin his project. Go ahead.
There's still niggas in middle school and high school that's still doing the grinding beat in 2018.
Exactly. It's cats in high school freestyling at lunch right now with somebody beating on the table doing it. Well, then again, you got to fast forward. They probably just pull it up on YouTube now. that was our broke asses back in high school beating on the table.
Either way, what I'm saying is people are still recognizing that song and still enjoying that song in 2018. I don't think in 2028 that we'll be here listening to Take Care or Thank Me Later or any of that. I don't think so.
Now, I do have a question. Mm-hmm. From a hip hop standpoint, I can't even talk about shit he have responded, whatever. From a hip hop standpoint, what would Drake say to combat everything that Pusha said on the story of Adidon? Like, what would this nigga have to do to truly come back from that?
To combat that, he could address. He would have to be. He can be witty about it. He can address his dad. You know what I mean? He can address that situation, but be witty about it. Maybe say some. I don't know. Maybe say something about Pusha T's having an absentee father. I don't know. The mom shit, I wouldn't really touch on that one. I mean, he gave a little jab, but I wouldn't touch on that. As far as the main shit, I guess you really couldn't touch on it now. You can make little witty comments, but what Drake is going to have to do, what I'm surprised he hasn't done yet, which we'll talk about a little later, is he would have to make a hit record. And I'm not talking about another back-to-back. I'm talking about something that not only is going to beat in the car, but you can play it in the club and people is going to have to feel. He's going to have to do that. But honestly, I think in order for him to do that, he's going to have to get a feature. He's going to have to get Wayne or somebody like that in order to help that. I don't think he'll be able to do that on his own, not when he's been hit with this firepower. Like, Drake got punched in the face, and I think he was expecting a smack. He didn't take Push seriously, and Push was like, okay, and pushed Ivan Drago, that nigga. That's what happened.
Nah, you know what? Wait, did we talk about this beforehand?
No.
I can't remember if you and I had a conversation about this because that's exactly what I was saying. I actually talked to Kingpin about it not too long ago, and I was saying the only way Drake can come back and truly win for his fans and the hip hop fans is that he would have to make a hit record, and he has to have a hit record with the most malicious lines going towards Pusha T.
That's the thing. I don't even think it has to be malicious. I think if he can do witty and do some catchy shit.
Well, see, in the mortal words of Joe Budden, you can't Belle Biv DeVoe your way out of this one. Like, there's no way he can be witty. Like, he can be witty as fuck. And I'm not saying he has to have an angry flow, but with that wit and with that styling that he does in his battle bars, he needs to expose something about Pusha T. And go ahead.
Go ahead.
Like, he needs to expose. He would have to expose Pusha T, and at the same time making a solid record. Like, he would ultimately have to have his version of Hit 'Em Up. Mm-hmm. Like, Back to Back was nominated for a Grammy, but that's because how music is documented, how streaming counts, like all that other all the shit is new now. But if Hit 'Em Up came out today, that shit probably would have won the fucking Grammy because that was a hit record.
Exactly. I kind of don't agree with that. And the only reason I don't agree with that is at this point, he shouldn't be trying to appeal to the hip hop masses. He should be trying to appeal to his fans, and his fans love that witty, that Belle Biv DeVoe, if you will, shit. Like, granted, me, you, Budden, we can all say you can't Belle Biv DeVoe your way to this one, and if he does that, we probably will still give him the L. But in order to appease his fans, in order to get the timeline buzzing, which is what his annoying ass fans does, I think if he was to be witty and do stuff like that, they would still like it and still get it buzzing. So therefore, it would look on paper that he won. Even though when you listen to the record, he ain't saying shit.
Now, here's why I disagree with that. Even with him not responding, his fans think that he won. They're still posting right now with all this talk and wait till his album drop. They're still doing that shit. No matter what Drake would have done in his fans' head, he would have won. The reason this beef is different from the Meek beef is because Meek let down the hip hop heads early by responding so late with a trash diss record and by not really exposing shit the way that Drake basically pulled him out the closet. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The reason I think it's important that he would have to have like just asshole wit throughout the entire hit record is because in this situation, this is one of those rare situations where bars defeated status. Now, when you have those, those regular Drake fans, the regular hip hop fan nowadays, when you have those kind of fans, there's nothing that someone in a lesser tax bracket than Drake can say that's going to have them believe that they beat Drake. But in this situation, it's not about them. It's about the hip hop fans. People were forced to return to that place of where hip hop began because when they started saying, Pusha T went too far, niggas started going there like, nah, compared to a lot of things that we've heard come out, Pusha was kind of reserved. And to know that there was more to be said, when he tells you, talking about I'm upset, I want to see what happens when you get angry. And then I'm peeling the layers back. One, as hip hop fans, we want to hear that shit. Right. And two, he's telling you, he's calling your bluff. He's pulling your bitch card. He's like, bruh, there's nothing you could say to me because I'm ready. So you have to come back with something just as hard. And granted, the hip hop heads are never going to respect you, straight up. But they at least fucked with you enough when you made Back to Back from it just being a constant and consistent attack on Meek. They was like, yo, you doing in our street, nigga. Yo, okay, we see you, Aubrey. In this situation, he would have to fire back with a hit record and say some crazy shit and then ultimately double up on how Back to Back went down. And I think that would at least win him the respect of the hip hop heads in this beef. Because this beef is actually hip hop finally. It's an actual hip hop beef.
Right. I do agree with you that it is a hip hop beef. I just don't think he has to. Well, first of all, I don't think there's anything he can really say to expose Pusha. I really don't.
Oh, yeah. Pusha didn't already talk about himself enough.
Right. I don't think he can. But I honestly don't think that he would have to be as a malicious or have to do so many bars. I don't. I think that if he would have to come out, do his witty thing, make a hit record, and in order to solidify it, not having bars, he would have to follow it back with another hit record and throw shade at him that way. Like in order to be pushed in my eyes, he's gonna have to overwhelm him with so much content and so much shit talking that Push would either have to bow out or the fans would say he lost. But either way, right now, Drake lost.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We still ain't got a response. Drake lost.
He's not going to respond. Rumor. I saw an article in Complex that one of his big homies told him not to respond.
Well, it's two things I was going to say. First, I had seen that supposedly he had put out $100K for any info on Push,
which I believe.
Once that leaked, bro, come on, you
look like a clown.
That's a done deal. But as far as the not responding thing, word is, and I seen this on a podcast, or I seen the clip on a podcast. Word is, Jay Prince called or talked to Drake and told him not to respond. All that does is tell me is that Drake reached out to a lot of the big homies, couldn't get no dirt or whatever, you know what I mean, trying to figure out what to do, and it was like, bro, don't even respond. And I think they were telling him not to respond because they know he cannot win this battle.
You know what I would have done? My bad, keep going.
No, go ahead.
People gonna be like, yo, they cutting each other off all the fucking time on this episode. But you know what I would have done? Now I'm sitting here thinking about it. He would have had to attack Pusha T's pride the same way Pusha T did his. He would have had to gone into it, and I even look at it now as if Drake showed his hand too much, trying to go for that 1-round knockout with Duppy freestyle. I look at the line that he mentioned when it came down to them trapping, that it was their cousin, then it was Malice, and then it was you. So you wasn't rapping about what you did, you was just rapping about what you knew. Mm-hmm. He needs to make an entire song based on the fact that Pusha T is not the Pusha that he claims to be. Even if ultimately the song was him stretching a truth. You know what I'm saying? If he went in with the witty lines, was talking about how his hip-hop hustle dwarfs his drug hustle, and you was really in it for like 4 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he really went in on what makes Pusha T, that would have been enough to at least set Pusha T up to respond back. After that, I don't know what the fuck you do after that.
It would have to be a hit record, but I completely agree with you that he would have to attack who he is and make it seem so goddamn cool in order to win. But again, that's all hearsay, because at this point, Drake, you lost this one. I mean, I got a feeling that he's probably going to say something on his album, but at that point, it's like, dude, we don't want to hear it. You lost. You suck. But then I got to ask.
Boo!
Right. To me, I think that he's definitely been exposed. He's definitely, that armor that he had on, I don't think it's just chinked. I think that motherfucker is cracked and there's blood leaking out of it. But at the same time, I don't think that his fans are so fickle and so one-track Drake-minded that I don't even know if this harms him.
No, it doesn't. But that's what I'm saying. It doesn't. Where he's fucked is that respect in hip-hop. People respect Drake as a businessman. People respect Drake as a hit maker. But as a hip-hop artist, people don't respect him in that. And really, that's not what Drake is looking for. And, you know, when you consider all that, if that's not what he's looking for, he's never going to lose. But his whole reason for responding to cats now is to get that hip hop respect. So what we're going to see from Drake is he's going to get even more poppy. Like he's going to get even more, you know what I'm saying, singing, and we're going to get more of this trash reggae accent. We're going to get more of just pop Drake. He's going to get even more poppy than what he is right now.
Yeah, I agree with that. And you're it's crazy because in hip hop, once this type of beef and stuff transpires, I'm not saying that the other person is really done for it. We don't hear no music from him, but chances are a lot of people don't fuck with him no more after they lose a beef. I think Push did a phenomenal job in dismantling Drake in that sense, but at the same time, I think the only thing this really hurt was his pockets. Because now they got to refigure out this whole rollout thing and kind of refigure that. But so I think it may have hurt his pockets. But yeah, I don't see in the long run how this affects him in the long run.
And it's funny because Charlamagne and Schultz were talking about that on their podcast on Brilliant Idiots, and they had the perfect conversation about it. This officially fucks up the rollout because when you think of Adidon, you think of blackface, you think of Jim Crow.
Exactly.
Like that's officially, you know what I'm saying, connected to it. And and another thing that's interesting is when people were talking about the Meek Drake beef, and they were like, we're far past the times where beef can slow down sales. I looked into it a little bit. We're definitely far past the time where it'll just end your career like Ja. But Meek's album, the push slowed down around the time that the beef started. Because once you expose somebody as a hoe, it kind of makes those raps not real. It makes what you're talking about like, you're really not as brolic as you claim to be.
Exactly. It sucks we're in a time now where a lot of the music is like that. These kids are just, they're not living their truth. But when you've got somebody that's been in the game as long as Drake is, when hip-hop was still hip-hop, now, you can look at him and be like, man, you ain't even about this. You don't even take care of your kids. Shut up. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think you got a point with that one. I do. I don't know. If you know what? Me personally, even though I feel, and I know Push probably feels the same way, he won this beef, it probably might be deaded. For good measure, I would come out with another diss track just as hard.
Oh yeah, I would have a nail in the coffin record.
Yeah.
I would have a nail in the coffin, and I still wouldn't expose everything that I had on the layers.
Exactly. I wouldn't expose everything. I come out just as hard, and I have a dope-ass beat, maybe something you can actually bump like a back-to-back in the car. You know what I mean? I would do that just to really put it out there and let it be known that anybody Drake tries to go get and recruit to help, I'm a tackle their ass down too. I would do that. Maybe because I'm an asshole though.
No, trust me, I would have done the exact same thing. While we're still on the subject of Pusha T and good music in general, first of all, let me get this out the way, and then we can go into a little mini album review before we wrap up the Drake Pusha T conversation. This whole 7 song shit is fucking annoying.
It is.
It's really fucking annoying. Like, I knew that I was gonna listen to Kanye's album. I knew I wasn't gonna stream it. I wanted him to understand I'm mad at him. But I knew I was gonna download that motherfucker. And I really was like, I need something MAGA hat good. I need Make America Great Again hat good. And I just did not get that with the Ye album. And then with Push, again, you're fucking insane, bro. Those beats is crazy. That nigga was killing that.
I did listen to a couple of the beats back, and I will say some of those beats are kind of dope.
And I'm like, 7 songs, like I needed more. Like it just, when it's good, it leaves you wanting more. When it's bad, it's like, that's it. You ain't got no fillers to cover up. You can give me 10 more songs, maybe forget about these 7. Like I fuck with the intro of Ye, but the rest of it was it wasn't MAGA hat good.
I think honestly, that's a business decision. I think that they're doing this, and I think it has something to do with streaming. I think 7 may be, it's either 5 or 7 may be the least amount of songs that they can make and still get the same amount of money. I think if it's a hard copy, I think if they were still doing hard copies, then we would get more songs because I think the fans kind of control that. Niggas will probably buy your album if it's 7 songs, but the masses won't buy it because it's only 7 songs. But with streaming, it's a little bit different. I think that's why they're making these 5 and 7 songs. I have not listened to Kanye's album. I'm not going to listen to Kanye's album. But I feel the same as you feel because Black Thought album dropped and it was only 5 songs.
And fucking amazing.
Exactly, and it's only 5 songs. So I think that's a business type thing, and I think that has to do with streaming on why they're doing that. I hope it's not a trend that everybody starts to do.
Oh, give it time.
But I do understand why they're doing it.
Give it time. One thing we are going to start seeing more of is that when the albums do come out, I don't see us having too many albums over 12 tracks anymore. But I also do see mixtapes being like 27 songs now.
Hey, if the mixtape is 27 songs, but you giving me fire, I ain't complaining.
I ain't mad. Like I'm all for another Crenshaw from Nipsey Hussle. That shit, right, that album is 3 days long, and every record slap.
That's how I feel about the Chris Brown album. It took me 3 days to listen to it, but boy, let me tell you, that shit should win album of the year. That shit is so dope. All them damn songs, 3 albums worth of songs, but they all fire.
Now, with that, knowing that when Nas's album drops, it's going to be 7 songs. 7 songs, yeah. Every album that's coming out that's been produced by Ye is 7 songs.
That it got to be a streaming thing, man. It has to be.
I don't know, man. I can't get with, the short projects like that because it leaves you wanting more, and then it forces you to slap the project again to the point where you're now tired of it.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I'm not a fan of this. I mean, personally, I like between 12 and 15 songs personally, but I do see on the business side on why they're doing it. But at the same token, they need to figure, as for the fans, if they really care about the fans like they claim, they need to do something to kind of offset that. If you only gonna give me 7 songs that I can listen to, then I need a mixtape to drop. I need an EP to drop.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I need a good music
singles.
mixtape or something. Don't just give me 7 songs and disappear for 2 years and expect me to be okay.
Like one dope way they could have done, they could have just gave us like 5 street singles and then gave us the EP and then let us put it together to make a cohesive album. You know what I'm saying?
That would have been dope as well. It's the same. Give us 5 hard throwaway tracks. Give us tracks that you felt were dope, but they didn't make the album for whatever reason. And let us make our playlist. A lot of people are doing that anyway.
Right.
I don't know. I didn't listen to Kanye's album, so you'll have to talk about that, joint.
Oh no, and I'm not going to. There's really nothing to talk about. I didn't enjoy it. Be real, I didn't enjoy it.
He said it, and I know you're a Ye fan, and you did not enjoy it.
I didn't enjoy it, and let's also be clear. Yes, I'm a Ye fan, but not in how the affliction in your voice makes it seem. I was a Ye fan all the way to graduation, and then I fucked with 808s and Heartbreaks. He lost me at Yeezus, and I only thought Life of Pablo was okay.
Yeah, well, I didn't mean it as your diehard fan. You fuck with it, but I mean like you listen to his music more than I do.
Gotcha.
So to hear you say that's alarming to me. Now lets me know that he really gave chicken scratch and turned it into chicken scratch.
Like one thing I appreciate about the Ye album is that it is. I should realize what I'm about to say and how it's going to sound is that it's bringing a lot of light to mental health issues. He mentions him being bipolar a few times in it. And then it's 7 songs. They're not even necessarily cohesive songs. So it's kind of like, it's almost like he was doing it with the multiple personalities taking over for each song. And this definitely could be me diving in too deep with it, but it just wasn't like the intro was hard. Like even when how he was talking in the intro, I think the intro is called I was thinking about killing you, or I thought about killing you, something like that. And he talks about it in there. He was all like, I thought about killing you. I thought about killing myself, and I love myself more than I love you. So what do you think I do to you? You know what I'm saying? And he's talking his way through this, and he just starts going in. The beat dropped, the beat's nasty. And then the rest of it was just like, okay, well, this was an EP. It happened. You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't necessarily, like, it's not something I'm going to go back to anytime soon. That intro, definitely. The entire EP,
And see, with this new streaming age, I think artists need to take that in consideration. It's a lot of music out there that has no replay value after the week. Once the week that it dropped is up, niggas is not going back to check on it. You know what I mean? It's only a handful of albums that I've listened to recently that I think has ultimate replay value. I think these artists better start getting hip to that, because eventually, once they figure this streaming shit out, eventually niggas is going to start losing money.
Real quick. I don't know, man, but to kind of close the door on this chapter. I always love the hip hop conversations. What's next for both of them? Like, what do you think comes after this? Like, Pusha, Oh, I'll let you answer first, and then I'll go to mine. This is just dealing with Pusha, Ye, Drake, just everyone involved.
I think Drake drops his album and continue to do Drake things. I think he'll have an asterisk by his name when it comes to legacy or
Especially with that
where
blackface
he's
picture.
at, where he's at currently. I think Push is going to continue to do what he does, probably a little bit less because I know he's more so behind the music. And far as Jay goes, honestly, I hope he just disappears.
Damn.
And that's being completely honest. I think people like him that has so much power, that command so much attention, to do the things that you are doing socially, that's not a good look to me. And don't get me wrong, I don't expect nobody to be a role model. I think everybody should raise their own kids and not look for these celebrities and athletes to do it for them. But in the same token, when you have that kind of power, when you know that you can get on a social media platform and it's going to have 1 million RTs, for you to get out there and spew negative, condescending, untrue bullshit, I have no respect for you. And this is why I couldn't be a rapper, because I tell it to your face. I don't give a fuck how much you're adored by your peers or how much you're adored by the fans. You're blatantly stepping out here and saying shit that's not true, saying hurtful shit, saying shit to about people that they had to fight to get to their point that they're at now. So for you to sit there and do that and not have any accountability whatsoever on it, fuck you.
Damn.
That's how I feel about it. Fuck you. You can disappear.
Since your stance was so heavy on Ye, I'll start there. I don't think he should necessarily go away, but I do agree with literally everything that you just said. Fuck him for, you know what I'm saying, making statements that were so hurtful to the people that, you know, follow him, even to the casual listener that just liked Ye here and there. That shit was hurtful. You know, right. It's like you said, you never was like a huge fan of him, but yet what he said affected you. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you I think being black is tough, but when you're a black man, you know what I mean? Literally every time we step out the threshold of our homes, we're targeted.
Right.
You know what I mean? We're targeted. So when you sit there and you say slavery was a choice, knowing that other black men, these black slaves, were targeted even worse than what we are now, and you're saying that it was a choice, fuck you, man.
No,
fuck you. Maybe you feel like it's a choice or anything like that because you don't see the ramifications of it, or you didn't feel the ramifications of it because of the position you're in now. But that's not the same for 100% of the black people in the world today. I don't give a damn if you wear a talk to Trump every day, you send your bitch to talk to Trump, you wear a Magna hat. At the end of the day, you still nigga. So yeah, that's just how I feel on it.
No, it is. It's real shit. What I think he needs to go from here is that he needs to take another break, for one, and he needs to take the diagnosis that he got from the counseling that he was only in for like 9 months. Take that diagnosis and really dive into it and work on correcting himself.
But see, I'm sick of that. I'm sick of that shit too. I'm sick of shit happening. Negative shit happening, whether it be said, whether it be physically done, and people are blaming that on mental illness.
Oh no, I'm not. But that's the thing. To me, if something come out your mouth, unless it's like, I guess whoop-diddy scoop in my head, you are in sound mind to make your comments, because we also got to touch on Roseanne and her bullshit.
Yeah. I think, and this would be a perfect way to get into what I'm about to say. I feel like mental illness is definitely a big thing.
Definitely.
I've talked about it a little bit, but I suffer from depression. I take medicine because of depression. Like, I get days where it's really bad, where I just want to sit in the dark, leave me the fuck alone, don't say shit to me. But I still don't go out and say shit that's hurtful to other people. I still don't go out and do these things that I feel like these other celebrities or personalities are doing, and then turn around and blame it on mental illness. There's no way in the world I can be having a bad day, or even not having a bad day, and I text you some wild bullshit, fuck beat, fuck the noise, you don't know what you're doing, blase blah, and then turn around and say it's mental illness. Oh, I was having a bad day because of depression, and then expect you to let that roll off your shoulders.
Right. No, and again,
don't work that way.
And again, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is he needs to take the time.
I'm not saying that's what you're saying. I'm saying in general.
No, I hear you. Just use the one you want to get your shot off. I hear you. What I'm saying is what he needs to do is really take that time to explore and correct it, because where Kanye's fucked is the fact that he has these mental illness issues, and he's just naturally a narcissist. He naturally feels he's owed everything he didn't get coming up in Chicago, everything he didn't get as a producer. So you can't have a mental illness, you can have bipolar disorder, and then the one, personality trait that's dominant on all, in all your personalities is narcissism, because that's when you get the kind of comments that he's been making, to where he's oblivious to hurting people, and he's making asinine comments that nobody knows where the fuck they're coming from. He doesn't even know where the fuck they're coming from. He's like, I saw this and I want to support it. And he's just running off of that shit. He truly needs to take the time, address his mental issues, and then move accordingly from there. Even if that means him quitting on mic, anything, then that's just what the fuck he needs to do, because he's going to fuck himself in the long run. He's going to put himself in a real bad position to where somebody's coming at him, or he's going to love himself so much that he just doesn't feel like he needs to be on this world anymore and do some wild shit. Like, we've seen niggas go absolutely crazy, especially when they're in love with themselves. We've seen it happen too many times.
Yeah, we have. But at the same time, can we really say that anything's going to be corrected? We heard all the I'm boycotting Kanye and shit like that.
Oh yeah,
but he's number one on his album sales.
No, no. Well, that's outside of Kanye. That's from people being fake as fuck. Like, no matter what they say, and I've been seeing it posted all day. Like, damn, I thought we were boycotting Kanye. You know what I mean? Like, that's from people. Well, that's one thing about people that will never fucking change. We will love all the likes and the fucking shares from us blasting Kanye, and then 2 weeks later be on Facebook talking about how good it is. Like with me giving you my opinion on Kanye's album. I gave my strong opinion about Kanye through social media when he did that bullshit. But I haven't said I fucked with or didn't fuck with the album on social media because, one, I'm here talking about it, and two, I'm saying true to my word. I'm not I'm not trying to promote this nigga. I'm not trying to help his spins go up after all this shit. He truly needs to feel the ramifications of his actions. Now, my little stream ain't gonna change shit.
Right. No, I'm the same way. It ain't gonna change shit.
And but it's just all about what the collective does. And the collective is never gonna break ground. Trust me, Kanye has some serious fucking fans. Like, these niggas are almost at Beehive status at this point, how much they support him. And as an artist, as a nigga that's worth for what he does, he deserves them. But at the same time, he'll never learn his lessons if he doesn't have that slap on the wrist. If he doesn't get that, the shit ain't gonna fucking happen. So, and that contributes to the narcissistic personality. If I go outside and I'm just like, you know what? Fuck everybody, fuck you, fuck him, fuck her, fuck all you niggas, and everybody coming at me all wild and crazy and shit like that, and then tomorrow motherfuckers is respecting me because they said I had the balls to go out there and just cuss everybody out, I'm not gonna learn my lesson. I'm not gonna go to a bigger neighborhood with more dangerous people and be like, fuck all y'all because I got away within this okay neighborhood. I'm not doing it.
It sounds like his fans not being true fans, because I feel like if you're a true fan, not only should you care about the music, but you should kind of care about the person, even if you don't know him. Mm-hmm. I feel like true fans are not going to hold him accountable, so therefore he doesn't have to hold himself accountable.
Right. Yeah, but that's just my take on. Yeah, he needs to step away. He needs to get away from the thing that I think is his biggest drug, and that's attention. He needs to get away from that, and he needs to learn how to live with the person he loves the most, and that's himself. Push needs to capitalize on all this attention. This is the most we've ever talked about Pusha T since he's been on his own. Pusha needs to drop a mixtape. If we're being all the way honest, Pusha needs to drop a 15, 16 song mixtape, but just all flatulence, just all fucking gas. You know what I mean? He needs to drop a full tape of just pure gas and just ride this momentum, because the momentum shift is heavily in his favor right now. He went to the king and he damn near cut the king's head off. And so he needs to capitalize on this. And then if he does, Pusha will do enough that Kanye don't need to make another record. Pusha can be that guy on good music. You know what I mean? If he capitalizes on this momentum. Drake is going to Drake his way out of this. But one thing he absolutely needs to do to at least restore some sort of respect, he has to explain everything. He tried explaining the blackface thing. But I'm still not necessarily all the way cool with it, because at the end of the day, blackface is just a constant reminder of what the fuck was going on.
No,
You look
honestly,
at
with that statement, I don't even think he wrote it nor meant it.
Oh, I don't think he did
When-
either. I don't think
Drake-
anytime these
when has
niggas
Drake
address
been
people.
a social media warrior. Drake ain't never did nothing for. I'm not social media, social justice warrior. Drake ain't never did nothing that had related to social. I don't see him talking about black issues. I don't see him doing shit. As a matter of fact, in articles, he's even stated how, which I believe is false as well, but he's even stated how in Toronto he doesn't really have no race issues. Like, there's no way a person that can come out and say that and then do blackface and then turn around and try to make a means for it. There's no way I can believe that.
Bruh, even if he didn't say that, the slaves escaped to Canada. Right. They have literally never had a race issue over there. So trust me, I know you didn't have any race issues growing up, Drake. I know. Historically known black man from where you're at had a race issue growing up. You know what I mean? So it's like with all of that shit, like he has to really explain, he has to humanize himself. He has to Aubrey his way out of this situation because at this point, there's a certain look to you now. There's a certain look to you, and it's not going to ease up. It's not going to ease up, and you look a certain way. You look like it's really all about the bag. You look like it's all about your popularity. You look like it's all about you. And there are so many other people affected by the decisions that you make.
That is facts.
You know what I'm saying? So like he needs to really explain. He needs to have, everybody's doing interviews now. He needs to have that sit down interview. And real talk, if Drake loves himself so much, Drake needs to shock the world and sit down with Charlamagne. That would be, I guarantee you, that would be the biggest interview of the year.
Yeah, that'd be a great move if he did that shit. That'd be bigger than Kanye if he did that.
Way bigger than Kanye. If Drake was to sit down with Charlamagne the God, knowing that Charlamagne ain't gonna pack no punches, knowing that Charlamagne ain't gonna try to protect him in any way, shape, or form, and give us a true to life tell all. Get everything out the way. Eminem from 8 Mile this shit. Get all of it out the way. That changes everything. All of this shit is forgotten. And in that aspect, Drake would win.
I agree with you on that. And now that you broke it down, I actually agree with you on that. That would not be a bad move for him. I agree with you on that. I think Push can still try to combat that, but I agree with you on that.
Everything could be challenged. Everything in this world could be challenged. But just in this situation, it's all about your next moves. It's all about making your next move the best move. And to me, as a spectator, he needs to address everything. Because the man that was untouchable just got touched. He got touched in a real crazy way.
He got more than touch. He got Siamese twin dictator. That's what he did.
Oh, shit. I know. We should call this episode Siamese Dick Tasting.
Yo, people gonna see that title and be like, what? Oh, hell, I gotta listen to this.
What the fuck are y'all talking about? I mean, shit, we got Donnie Dick Tickle, so who knows? Anyway, just honestly, just going forward from this whole situation, I just think all of that needs to happen. In closing, let's touch on this bitch real quick. So, nah, bro.
Wait. You can't say that. You can't say that nowadays. We can't. I think it counts. Figuratively speaking, we are not touching on women without their consent.
Oh, okay. So no, okay. And if anybody would really want to get Roseanne without her consent, even with consent is already like, But
yeah, if you're doing it without consent,
if you out here taking Roseanne pussy, then life is much harder than a lot of cats put on.
If you're doing that, you got mental illness.
That has to be the case. But just getting back to her, everyone was so shocked and surprised by her tweet. She's been saying crazy shit, nigga. She had a fucking picture in a newspaper, not a newspaper, in a magazine. She was dressed as Hitler. You know what I'm saying? Like, I granted that could have been a creative direction of the art of the newspaper. I mean, the magazine, the shit. It could have been a creative direction from the magazine. It could have been her idea, but at the end of the day, one no would have stopped that from happening.
Yeah, or what? Not one. No one. Yo, I don't know if this is the right move.
I don't know if this is it. The whole nine. One decision would have stopped all that from happening, but I digress. She's been making wild ass comments, but because we are in the era that if it's not on social media, it's not real. People just found out that Roseanne is racist. So,
right.
What is her name? Because I want to be respectful to the sister. Valerie Jarrett. She was a senior advisor to President Obama. Roseanne tweeted out, VJ, Muslim.
What was her name?
Huh?
What was her name?
Valerie Jarrett. You Googling her?
Yeah, I'm Googling it. Okay, I wanted to make sure because my next comment, I wanted to make sure I was right. Okay, go ahead.
Gotcha. You silly. I already know where you're going. But anyway, she said that basically she is if the Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes had a baby. Here's how you can miss me with that, oh, she's not racist, she's just this, that, and the third. Nigga, we're coming off of the coolest monkey in the jungle. We're still just coming off of that. This just happened.
Mm-hmm.
So you thought it'd be cool to compare a black person to a monkey. You thought that shit would just slide and just be okay. She said that it was 2 a.m. and she was on Ambien tweeting. So you telling me that a drug makes you racist?
And that's exactly why Ambien came out and was like, now, though we got side effects, and racism is not one of them.
Will you have a heart attack? Maybe. Will you become racist? No, that shit's in you already.
Yeah, that shit's already in you. Stuff like that, though. Like, I feel like if you're going to say some shit, be accountable for it. Everything that I've said in here, I'm stand by and I will repeat and meant it. And that goes for any podcast that I may have said in the past. Like, I'm gonna stand by what I said. If I'm incorrect in what I'm saying, then absolutely I can fault my incorrectness and correct it. But I'm not gonna go out and say no wild shit and then blame it on mental illness or Ambien or any other drug when the heat gets thrown on me. That's
Right.
not how shit should be.
Yeah, it's a scapegoat. Because you say what you mean and you mean what you say. So what's the point of you going back, oh, I apologize, and I say like, no, correct what you were saying. But you can't go back on it because that's how you felt at the moment. So you're not apologetic for what it is you felt at that time.
Exactly. You're mad because it's backlash when you got caught. Because if there was no backlash, nobody said nothing, you wouldn't be putting out no apology.
At all. When it comes down to her making those kind of statements, bruh, it's for one, it sucks because she felt that comfortable to just make that statement. And I think that's one of the biggest issues when it comes down to white people. And I even said that when we were talking about the coolest monkey in the jungle all those months ago, where sometimes it gets to the point where like, you're fucking trolling us. At this point, y'all are just poking at us just to see, what happens. Like, there's no way that you're just completely oblivious to all this shit. So that's one aspect of it. Another way that I'll look at it is it sucks that all those people had to lose their jobs. It sucks that, such an expensive rollout was made. But kudos to ABC for stepping up and just immediately being like, nah, we ain't here for it. And that's one thing that I think is going to start putting some fear into some of these, white celebrities. And the only reason I say that is you look at the Me Too movement, niggas are scared to have a conversation with a female. I
will agree with you on that.
Yeah, so it's starting to end that. Like, now, if you showing cats that they're going to be held accountable for the things that they say and for the things that they do, niggas are going to start moving in, a little more tiptoey. Now, granted, one thing I do hate about it is it's going to start disguising racism again. But it at least is going to give us somewhat of an upper hand on niggas. That if you catch a motherfucker slipping, nigga, that could be your career.
Yeah, I will agree with you on that. The only thing I kind of don't agree with you on is the ABC thing. And that's only because the woman who kind of pulled the plug on the Roseanne show, she is a black woman. So kudos to her on being a black woman with that type of position of power. I do give kudos for that. But
Right,
in the
big
same
up.
token, you gave Roseanne the show knowing that she has a history of racism. So that's check one. Even before then, you are the reason why that episode of Blackish was banned and you removed it from it. A black woman did that. So I guess that can be strike one. And then this Roseanne thing could be strike two. So you didn't strike out yet, but for me, on the outside looking in, I'm kind of looking at you, Shady, because I'm like, you shouldn't have gave her the show in the first place. And since you did, why are you now want to pull the plug on that? But when we had a show for black people that were talking about black issues that would have been important to black culture, that even some white people can get some knowledge on black culture with, why did you pull that? And then furthermore, why is, now I don't know if they should have to or not, but I think it's kind of funny how nobody on the cast or anything has came out and said anything about this. That leads me to believe this all-white cast probably feels the same. They just didn't get caught.
Now, with that, because I agree with you tenfold with with everything else that you just said. As far as the cast agreeing, we've talked about it before. We feel like all white people have at least 15 to 20% of racism already, still in them, for that was getting instilled from, older family members.
Right.
But it's with that gag order of shut the fuck up. Don't speak out somewhere that's going to get you fucked up. I think they truly understand that. And, with it being a black woman that pulled the plug, again, it's dope to have a woman of color in that position to have that
absolutely.
kind of power.
And then to be on a network like ABC, that's fucking amazing.
Right. I think it's because she made that decision with Blackish that nobody questioned her making that decision with the Roseanne show.
See, nobody in ABC questioned that decision. But like I said, on the outside looking in, we kind of looking at you funny. Yeah, you stamped out one of these white racist people, but at the same time, you was helping hinder us black folks. Blackish is a great positive show. Blackish does a lot for the black community. It was one episode that me and my girl were watching, and they were talking about postpartum depression, which was a very timely episode because at that time we just had our daughter. So to sit there and watch that and kind of get a little bit insight on what women go through was dope. The episode damn near brought me to tears. But if you got that type of show that can create that type of impact, why muffle them when they're trying to push the envelope a little bit, but then turn around and give a known racist white woman a show? Granted, yes, you pulled the plug, but again, you gave her the show. Like, I'm just not understanding the thought process behind that machine.
No, when you put it like that, shit. When you put it like that, it does make sense. The thought process behind it is kind of all over the place. Now, when it comes down to those shows coming into power, I can definitely say this, that they're assigned those kind of duties. You know what I mean? Uh-huh. Like, even with her being in the position to pick up, to drop the show, I guarantee you it wasn't her. She wasn't the green light to have it go.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? That was definitely something that came from ABC. And where I have more questions is I have more questions for Wanda Sykes. Because
wasn't she a writer on the show?
Yeah, she was a head writer of the show.
I for sure got questions for you, nigga.
So it's like you came into this off of the bag. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I understand that the bag can make you do some crazy shit. But if you're so super quick to just be offended and not fuck with this person, knowing who she was for years, I don't know. It's a little weird. This whole this whole situation is reminiscent of the Spotify shit that's going on.
It is,
and I say that because with them taking XXXTentacion and R. Kelly off of their playlist, it's like, okay, cool, great step, but let's go look at Elvis. Let's go look at this person. Let's go look at that. Like, it's so much shit. You have to look at so many women, or not women. You have to look at so much shit. You know what I mean? It's hard to implement a policy like that. You're absolutely right. And I mean, and no, I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna say that. But just know there's some artists out there that did some wild shit, and these niggas is on playlist. But and looking at the situation with Roseanne, it's very interesting how now free speech is the conversation again. Of course. A week after we just got done banning kneeling. Exactly. I think this is the thing I feel about with free speech. And I think Charlamagne said it kind of best. I feel like, you should be able to say whatever you want, no matter what that is.
but don't shy away from the consequences that could come from you saying what you want to say. And I feel like everybody, no matter the race or color, you should be held accountable for what you are saying. Because at the end of the day, you control what you say. And if you're a smart, intelligent, not even intelligent, if you're a smart person, you think before you speak. You know what I mean? So that leads me to, when you say wild shit, that leads me to believe you thought about this. Don't get me wrong. I think we've all said shit just in the moment. But for the vast majority, I can only assume that most people think before they speak. So for you to sit down, have these thoughts, and then get out and tweet it, knowing you got followers, yes, you can tweet and say whatever you want, but don't feel like we shouldn't hold you accountable for saying whatever you want. That's how I am with free speech.
Preach. Man, how I truly feel is more so in the exact same direction as you. Say what you mean what you say, deal with the shit that you say that you meant.
Why don't people have integrity anymore? And I'm saying this to Wanda Sykes. Like, don't get me wrong. We broke. We would definitely could use some ads on the playlist or whatever the case is, but I don't think neither one of us is going to sacrifice our morale and our integrity, our morals and our integrity over a bag. And I feel like that's what she did.
Now, but that's what they all do in Hollywood. Like by the time they actually get there, it's all about securing the bag going forward.
See, this is why I can't wait to get there, because I want to shake shit up so bad. Hell, in turn, it may end up getting me ran out of Hollywood, but I want to shake shit up so bad to show that you can still make movies, do whatever you are doing, but you can still be true to yourself. You don't have to conform for the bag. And like you said, everybody's doing it, and it sucks because I'm watching people that we grew up watching, or that maybe we just got hip to, but we liked it. I'm watching them conform to this bag, and it's like, you do realize when it's time to go, you can't take none of that money with you, right?
That shit, even when you're out of the fucking industry, you got to live on every decision that you made while you were chasing that bag. That's going to be just who you are.
Exactly. Like, people, like, you do realize that, yeah, you got this bag, but whatever you put on these social medias and whatever you do after that, like, that's gonna stick with you. You know what I mean? Like, if you get ran out of Hollywood and you say some wild shit on Twitter, you think anybody else is gonna give you a bag? Stop it. All because you wanted to kind of conform who you are and your morals for some money that, like I said, you can't take with you when you go. Niggas is gonna forget about you in 30 years. So, yeah, I don't know. Fuck Roseanne too.
It's been fuck Roseanne though, so that's not nothing new. Oh man, I hope y'all enjoyed this lengthy, hearty show.
Yeah,
full of Siamese gay and racism. we try to hit all facets of entertainment here on the Noize. Let the people know where they can find you at, buddy.
_ Hollywood Kev on Twitter, Hollywood Kev _ on Instagram. I ain't Snap savvy yet. Well, I'm savvy, but I don't use it. So yeah, follow me on those two.
All right, at Big Los IG on IG. You can follow me on Snap as well, Big Los. It's gonna be a picture of a very black ass emoji with glasses on, so you're gonna know that's me. Of course, at the Noize Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and of course, fuck with everything Beat Network at www.beatnetworkonline.com. As always, we appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, we appreciate your support. And as always, it's Big Los.
Hollywood Kev.
It's the Noize.